We are a play-based, project-based, STEAM-based school. So in the juniors into Kohanga, their very first classroom, they're very much play-based, and then it kind of stems through where there's a crossover between play and project, and then up into the senior school where it's more project, nature-based, STEAM-based learning. About 5 years ago, we did this big look into environmental action. We did snorkeling in the reserves. And from that, the kids had to make action projects, and that became embedded in our school culture. So from then on, we've gone on to join up with Enviro schools.
So Tuesdays we have STEAM days, which is science, history, technology, engineering, art, maths, Māori and mindfulness.
So on a Wednesday, we have a school-wide rongoa program, which is gardening, looking at medicinal teas and things like that. And we've got our new Paekākāriki. So it's embedded in our local curriculum. We have a Potty Potters Club, so that's largely volunteers from around the community, which runs a nursery. The children go and work amongst the plants. And so wherever they're working in the school, wherever the children are, it's really embedded deeply in our kaupapa anyway. So when we come to we have projects, passion projects that the students do, often they will turn to something environmental because that's part of their learning every day. They're all local villages. They know their village really well. They're very passionate about making sure that it's kept nice and clean and safe, and they know the drains go out to the sea.
We do all sorts of things down at the beach, but it definitely does help to spread awareness. We see so much rubbish floating down our awa to the sea, and it is always pick up the rubbish no matter how cold the awa is, 'cause usually it is pretty cold. Sometimes we have to find certain types of trees or plants and name what type of plant they are. A couple of years ago, a few students, we went and we tested water at different spots sort of near the village. The awa was one, testing for water pollution. It's basically we learn how to look after the plants and the environment. Sometimes we even do cooking and stuff, and then we learn about how by taking care of the environment, how the environment can take care of us.
By having those foundations, supported by New Zealand curriculum and Te Whiriki for the play-based learning, the students, they come through to us really well prepared with their ability to think critically and to problem solve and to know that they'll be supportive if they find something that they're interested in. That's how we do it, is we scaffold them along the way as they move up through the year groups. So every single year group has amazing projects and things that they're working on. So we begin every term with what we call Discovery Day. So that's a whole school thing, and it's when children go out and they play and they engage with one another and they reform their relationships and their sense of belonging and connecting from after the school holidays. And the role of the adults on the staff is to put out provocations. It might be anything. We could put out some sewing gear and some microscopes and some beads and some scales. Could be anything. And we actively watch and notice what the children are engaging with and who they're engaging with. And so from that can spring learning project for the week or for the term. And often we'll go back to the students and go, okay, so this is what we saw. Would you like to learn a little bit more about that, providing them with a foundation of knowledge? And from there we'll say, okay, where do you want to go with it now? And then they'll kind of do some independent projects, or there might be a group across the school that have said, oh, we all noticed this thing, and so they could work together. So in the case of Anaka, that came from our very deeply embedded environmental roots at this school. We work really hard and provide a lot of emphasis on having that school whānau relationship. It's really important to us because we're a village kura. All of our children are involved in something together in some way out of school. So they might be in the local Kias club, they might be in the football club. They probably have had sleepovers together because their siblings are friends or something like that. Their next door neighbours. Keeping those relationships strong, making sure that the communication is strong, putting out little and often, so that the whānau can keep up with what we're doing and why we're doing it. It's always that why, I think, it's really important to, particularly when you're doing something that's not how education used to be, it's really important to keep that communication up and to make it okay to ask questions. So if someone emails in and says, oh, why are you doing that? It's good to actually have that why, because it makes you think yourself as well. Where is the basis for this? Is this embedded in our kaupapa? Always going back to your local curriculum. Is this us? Is this following what it is that we said we would do? Is this following what the community has asked us to do, which is formed our strategic plan? So making sure that, or trying our best to ensure that the doors are open for questions and that we're putting out information when and however we can. In our senior syndicate, we work with the children to recognise when they're covering parts of the curriculum so they know what they're learning when they're learning it. If they're doing a lot of project-based learning, they might cover different areas than other students, so they need to know, that was maths, or that was science, so that they can articulate what it is that they've been learning and tell us about it. We track our learners quite carefully, so we have a really good relationship, and that's continuing to build with the college. And most of our students go through to Kapiti College. We often, at the start of every year, will go and see our leavers, get information to see how their transition went, what did they do, what could we do better. And there's always changes, there's always tweaks and suggestions, and we get the test results from their sort of core curriculum learning, but we also ask for information on the leaders and how they are as people, and do they help each other, and what do they do, are they one of the people that the younger kids go to eventually, that kind of thing, because that's important as well.